People call me like they want to sue their brother over their great grandma house, and I'm like, I'm not. See, this is one of those things. I'm not the lawyer for that. I didn't even know this building was for sale.
Really?
I go to church 5 minutes from here, like around the corner. And I was going to church one Sunday morning. It was last year about this time. It was last year, like either right before or right after Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And the Lord spoke to me and said, I want you to buy 15 South Main Street.
Okay.
I said, buy 15 South Main Street? Because I was renting at a building 0.2 miles from here around the corner.
Okay.
And the Lord said, I want you to buy 15 South Main Street. And like, I'm on the way to church. So I'm like, buy. I didn't know it was for sale. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a sign in the window.
Wow.
And I said, well, God, can I look at it first? I mean, I'm sarcastic. God knows that. He loves me anyway. But I was like, okay. And so I looked it up, and it was for sale. And it just got on the market. And It was a firm that had been in here. And God told me to buy 15 South Main Street and do it before the end of the year. Okay. And so he told me that, like, right at the end of November, December. Mm-hmm. Called my realtor friend, say, hey, I need to look at this building in Sumter. It doesn't really matter the condition it's in. God told me to buy it. I'm buy it. And the Lord told me how much to pay for it.
Okay.
So I came in about mid-December, looked at it. It had potential. Great location. Downtown Sumter is thriving. It's in the process of a revitalization. Mm-hmm. Businesses are coming back. On the corner right over here, they're putting a $3 million beer brewery right here. Okay. They got the restaurants, they got the hotels and stuff down here. So I got in at a great time. Mm-hmm. And so I came in, saw it. I said, I hate everything in here, but I like the location, so we're going to gut it. And here we are a year later. I did what the Lord told me to do, and I'm glad I did.
That is awesome. I mean, because even when we parked and walking down here, I mean, today there's a parade, so probably a little bit different than normal, but there is still a lot of foot traffic here, though.
So, yeah, when I come and work on the weekends, there's parking in the back of the building. I like parking in the front. The streets are lined up. People are down here all the time. Like the restaurants, these shops and stuff right here. People are downtown Sumter, so it's we got in at the right time.
Awesome. Well, yeah, and then also, I mean, you have this floor, then there's more space upstairs to where, I mean, this is a very, very good investment.
Oh yeah, it was. It really was. So let me tell you how good God is. So I got it at a steal. I got it for $5,000 less than what God told me to pay for it. I told God I made a deal. Save you some money, God. Not that you need it. And no, there's right at 4,000 square feet in here.
Okay.
And so it's been fun. I like interior design. I watch HGTV all the time. So I'm not only am I sitting in my side hustle, in 2019 I got to play with my passion of wanting to do a total gut renovation and picking every piece of material in here, from the paint to the flooring to the furniture. So it's been amazing. It's been fun. It's been fun. Yep.
Wow. Awesome. So now, how long has your firm actually been open?
I opened Lampkin Law Firm on January 1st, 2015.
Okay.
Officially. So that's almost 5 years. Wow.
Okay.
And it was my husband encouraging me to open a law firm because I had gotten comfortable with my day job. I still have it. I have a very nice, cushy, executive level job. And I was like, yo, I'm good. Mm-hmm. I don't have no kids. We're good. And my husband was like, you need to open Lampkin Law Firm. It'll be very lucrative for you. Da-da-da-da. I was like, I don't have time for that. And so, like, he just started sending people to me, like, why don't you help this person? He just gave in typical Jeffrey Lampkin fashion. But I love him for it because, like, 4 years later, it's just like, wow, you were right. Mm-hmm. And you saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. So I'm glad. I'm glad that he spoke that vision, that he pushed me, that he helped me birth this thing. Mm-hmm.
I guess that's an interesting way to, start a business. Like, I guess for any spouse out there, if you want a spouse or a friend to start a business, just start pushing them clients.
No, don't do that. Jeffrey Lampkin special. But it started out like, hey, I got so and so, I need you to help them with this. I was like, I don't even know how to practice this type of law. I came from a corporate law background, real estate, whatever. He's like, oh, you can do it. You're smart. So I was like, okay, I'm working auto accident cases for your friends because you said I can do it. I didn't learn this in law school, never done this before, but he was right. I could do it. So marry somebody who sees things in you that you don't see in yourself.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
It helps. Yep.
Now, what type of law do you practice here?
Here in this firm, I do personal injury. That's auto accidents, medical malpractice, slip and falls. I do employment law, defense work for companies, and plaintiff work for discrimination type matters. I work with estate planning, so wills, power of attorneys, trusts. I don't do a lot of family law because family law is emotional. I will do an uncontested divorce, meaning I don't like you anymore. We don't need to be married. We tried. Let's civilly end this. I will get you divorced in 60 days or less. But the child custody and stuff, that pulls at your heartstrings. And so that's challenging. And I work with a lot of churches. I serve as general counsel for one church primarily, but I work with a lot of churches. Churches have a myriad of legal issues, from employment matters to contracts to real estate development. The larger churches have intellectual property matters, things of that nature. So I work with a lot of churches. So that's what I do here.
Now, I mean, when you came into, let's say, working with the churches and the not-for-profit organizations, I guess kind of when you walk in, or I guess when they reach out to you, I mean, how much do they know that, hey, we need a lawyer, or is it just, hey, let's just get an assessment, or how does that happen?
I'll say this. It depends on not even the size of the church, but the education level and the knowledge of the members, right? Okay. So I'll say this because I'm African American. A lot of African American churches, because it's with faith, with God, we feel like, oh, we can do business on so-and-so with a handshake. We love God, they love God. We all good. It's not all good because Satan lives at the church and people hustle God all the time. Yeah. And so I tell a lot of pastors, leaders, and boards, you need to conduct your church like a business. You need to be a good steward of God's money because that's what you're using. And so there need to be contractual relationships. We can believe in the same God. Let's put it on paper, have some terms, some conditions, some warranties, some ways that I can get out of this or sue you if it doesn't go well. So let's do that. And so I'm finding now people, more and more churches are becoming aware and seeing the need. Some of them are still good faith. We're good people. They're good people. But a lot of churches are happy to see me walk in the door because I told your wife, I said I give legal guidance from a kingdom-minded perspective. Yes. I'm one of the rare saved lawyers, right? That sounds like an oxymoron, but we do exist. And so when I come in, it's not to be antagonistic, is to be a good steward of God's money, His resources, and do business in a way that reflects kingdom well. Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting point because even as I start to look at how, some of the consulting we do with different businesses and different people that are like, hey, I'm looking to start this business, and they'll tell me about this relationship they either have with a vendor or a partner, and I'll kind of ask, hey, what's the terms of this agreement, or what's the terms of this relationship?
Friendship.
They're like, oh, we know each other. It's like, I'm like, that works if you guys are doing a hobby.
Right.
But if you are trying to run a business, you need to be able to clearly spell out, hey, this is what's expected of me, this is what's expected of them, this is the time frame. Because, if you don't have that, it really does become a messy situation.
It can. So I always say that having attorneys and contracts with terms in place beforehand, there's no room for gray area, right? We can still be friends. But on the business side, let's conduct it like it's real business. That's it.
No, and I think that's a good point because even as you think about, where your full-time job and building a business here, whereas how do you manage kind of switching the mindset? Because who you are in the Lampkin Law Firm is not who you are in your career. How do you manage that?
I'm both all day.
Okay.
And so I wear both hats 24 hours a day. So thank God I'm not schizophrenic. Sometimes it makes you feel like you're mad, but my job, what I do in my day, I can't turn it off because of the clientele that we serve and what we do. And in my firm, this is my baby, so I'm not going to turn it off. So I have to do a lot of prayer, meditation, time management. As I get older in my business, I learned that I need help. I need good, reliable people working for me who see my vision, who operate in excellence, who can help me execute it. But I manage by having great help. And that's God, that's amazing staff. I have amazing staff both in Charlotte at my day job and here. So can't do it by myself, God, and a good team. That's how I manage.
Now, okay, when it comes down to finding good talent, because I think there are so many resources out there, whether it's, job posting boards, whether it's LinkedIn or Indeed or wherever it is. Kind of what's your approach to how do you find good people?
Here goes one of the learning things, right? So everyone seems good in the beginning.
Okay.
And then sometimes you get on there and it doesn't work. So my approach currently, and this is not to sound really, really, really churchy or religious, but now I ask God for what I need and he sends it to me.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, God, I need help. And literally, he'll say, hey, why don't you call this person? Or somebody will call me, and God will be like, that's them. And so for my firm, what I do in this business, my day job, we put out the resumes and people interview. But on this team, because this team is special, so I need people who believe God like I believe God, have a similar work ethic. I let God assign the team members because I'm on an assignment. This whole firm, being in Sumter, sitting in this building, I'm walking in God's purpose, so I let him pick my teammates. Because I tried to pick my teammates and I had to fire them. That was uncomfortable. It was awkward. It was strange. Yeah, now I ask God first, and then it works out. I have not had to fire anybody that God sent, so look at that.
That I will say, having to make some adjustments on the team, like I said, especially when it's not a mutual agreement where it's just like, hey, it's not a good fit. They know it's not a good fit. You know it's not a good fit. Like, hey, let's find a civil way to end it. Right. But when you are like, hey, this is not a good fit, but they're like, they think they're killing it.
Right.
I mean, it becomes uncomfortable.
And so it's part of any profession. Great team members are great. But I don't fire anyone. People fire themselves. Right? Because I make it clear this is what we need. This is what I expect. Open door, let's talk about it. But if you're not doing the job, then this is not a good fit for you. It's okay.
And I think that's very fair because I look at that even myself where they're in our own business when working with different clients. One of the things that I definitely tell my wife and just other people that we're working with is like, hey, everybody is not a good client fit for us.
Definitely.
We're not a good firm fit for everybody.
Definitely.
And I think we got to be respectful enough to say that, to be like, you know what? This is not the right client, or hey, this is not the right relationship we should have because what we bring to the table, what they bring to the table, there isn't enough, I guess you say, synergy value between the two. And it's just like, hey, you know what? It would be better if you got another firm, or hey, it would be better if we got a different client.
Yeah, I do that. I do that even in my own practice. So a lot of people call me, I guess this is a blessing. So since it's something I do in addition to my day job, it's not like I need this to have funds. And so the ability to be selective is a blessing. You just said a mouthful. I'm not a good fit for everybody. Yeah. But the people I am a good fit for, it works. So a lot of attorneys that do what I do, they like take everything that walks through the door. My door is never open. It's locked by appointment only, right? So it's just like, you have to know your area of the market, know your niche, know what works best for you, and be comfortable with that, right? I think it eliminates a lot of stress.
And I guess, how do you find that? Because that's one of the challenges that a lot of business owners have, or just as they're developing a business, they're seeing all these other great things that are going on, but it's just like, how do you stay focused to say, hey, you know what? That's not my business. This is my business. This is what we're focused on. Like, how do you block out the unnecessary noise?
Time and growth and staying off social media. Social media, it's good for what it's good for, but it can also bring in comparison. Now, you just got to, I'm really in tune with who I am. I'm really starting to understand who God is calling me to be and what I should be doing in this season. And I've just learned to be content with what I got. And so I'm very spirit-led. So if God says this is what we're doing right now, then I'm going to focus here until he says it's time to move on to the next thing. And that is just work for me. Because if you try to do too many things, there's a possibility that something's going to lack or you can't do it all well. Yeah. So I kind of just stay on the last assignment God gave me until he tells me it's time for something else. That's my approach.
And I think that is a very good approach because, when you have that clarity about, hey, this is where my focus is going to be. And when you know that, it's just like your productivity goes to a whole new level.
Yeah, now some of this comes with age now because I remember being younger, being all over the place. Now, I'm not going to say, no, I'm not perfect daddy. No, I used to be scatterbrained. And I was trying to do this and that and this and that, and it didn't work. And so with age came wisdom. And I was like, you know what? maybe I should try to do this. And then it was, you know what, God, what do you want me to do, right? And so, that's how we're rolling now.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Now, okay, how many people do you have in your firm now, I guess, employed with your firm now?
3.
Okay.
Three non-contractual, 3 on a regular basis. Contract is needed.
Okay.
But three on a regular basis. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how do you go about finding kind of those contract relationships? Like, who's the right fit for that?
So now for those I outsource, there are companies that you can contract and get attorneys for.
Okay.
Short-term projects, long-term projects. So if I'm getting super, super duper busy and I need help, then I hit up one of those companies that provide contract attorneys or whatever. And some even with some paralegals, I got a big case, a big whatever, and we'll set a time frame. I know what the rates are. I tell them what I'm looking for. They send me resumes. I vet them sometime, and then I can find a good fit for me.
Okay.
And it's short term. There's no contractual relationship beyond the stated term, so I don't have to worry about all the employment stuff. So it works, right? So that helps. There are a lot of services like that for attorneys.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, when it comes down to, like I said, if someone is going to start a law firm, what kind of advice or perspective would you give them? Like, hey, these are things you probably should consider that nobody will tell you, or that you didn't learn in law school.
Hey, man. Like, first of all, get a mentor. Like, I read a book and prayed. It helped. There were other ways. And, you know, so like I learned by trial and error. I'm still learning. When I went to law school that I went to UNC Chapel Hill. Like, we didn't talk about opening your own practices. Like, you know, I was at Chapel Hill. We were one of the top law schools in the country, especially for a public law school. So it was graduating the top 25% of your class, go get a firm job, big law in some city, make it X amount of 6 figures to start. That's what you do. And so I followed that track. I traced that track. So I didn't even fathom opening up my own practice, hanging out my own shingle, being in a smaller city or town. No, I just knew I was going to live in a major city and work corporate law at a firm. And that's what I was doing until I met my husband and I had to move and make some adjustments. And it's been good. It's been one of the best things that ever happened to me. But I would say, I would tell anybody, find a mentor. Find someone who's doing what you're doing, what you desire to do, and who's doing it well. And ask them, how did they get there? Read the books, pray, but find somebody who can tell you, hey, this is what I did, and this is what I wish I had done. And to get you there faster, this is what I think you should consider.
Okay.
That would be my advice.
So what's one of the funniest lessons that you kind of learned by trial and error? Or one of the funnier ones?
Oh, God. So some of the things I've learned, like we've talked about previously, I'm not a good fit for certain clients, right? And so for confidential purpose, I can't tell you the story.
Yeah.
But I'm not a good fit for certain clients, and that's okay. And I have to be okay with that. I'll tell you one thing about running a law firm. There's a major difference between running a law firm and practicing law and running a business. And so what I found with my firm, I've been so blessed. The business boomed.
Okay.
But it's like I needed staff. I need someone who handles payroll and expenses. I know my husband works with you guys for the restaurant. I need an accountant.
Yeah.
Like, it gets real. And so it's just like, I think that you need to be aware of the business side of it, because a lot of people can practice law. But if you're going to run a business and you want to be profitable, you need to learn how to run a business, because now you got payroll, you got employees, you have to still run. You said still practice law. You got to keep the lights on, you pay mortgage. So the business side of it, and still being able to practice law effectively. So it's multifaceted.
Yeah.
And I didn't consider all of that.
Yeah, and I think that becomes a very interesting thing for a lot of people, because even when people reach out to us and they're like, hey, I want to develop a business plan because I want to start a business. And we're like, okay, that's something that sounds like something we can help with. Well, let's talk a little bit more to see if we're the right fit. And when you're asking the questions, like, let's say someone wanted to start a restaurant, in which I went through the same thing with your husband when he called me and said he wanted to start a restaurant.
Right.
I said,
tomorrow, I want to start a restaurant tomorrow. But the thing about my husband is he's going to start it tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes. And that was one of the things that I asked about. I was like, all right, it's a great idea, but let's talk a little bit further. Let's see, because the questions that I'm asking is trying to understand is, do you really love cooking or do you really want to run the business of a restaurant?
Two different things.
Because I was like, those two completely
things.
different things. And as we kind of went down the questions, and one of the things that I talked about, I'm like, all right, so when we start putting together a financial plan, you're going to start getting a glimpse of, hey, these are the things you need to consider. Okay, what about the vendor relationship, like buying the food, so you have food to cook and sell.
A necessity.
Yes, I mean, I think with the marketing.
To put them on.
Yes. I mean, all of the different details that you don't see or you don't think about when you're starting a business. I think that's something that a lot of people overlook. And I could imagine people are like, oh, I practice law. I mean, I can just set my shop up.
How hard can it be?
Yeah.
It's hard.
I mean, and then you think about, like I said, with the employees, I mean, you have another tax situation that you need to think about.
Oh God, yes.
I mean, just the formal paperwork.
Yeah, yes. So, yeah, it's a lot to it. And so anybody trying to start their own business, especially their own law firm, get educated on the business side, right? So you know how to practice law. Learn how to run a business, because they have to